ஆழ்வார் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
This is our Golu theme based on the life of the 12 Alvars. On the first scene, you can see 3 Alvars. Poigai Alvar, the first one among them, had journeyed to Tirukkovalur. When he reached over there, it was a stormy night and was raining heavily. So he reached a house of a Vaishnava to take shelter from the rain. He was allowed to spend the night in a very narrow courtyard on the front side of their house, which is also called as Redi. There was just enough place for one person to lie down. When he laid down over there, he heard a knock at the door. He opened the door and he saw Bhudat Alvar standing outside. He too had come there to take shelter from the rain. He welcomed him inside. He said, when there is place for one person to lie down, 2 people can sit down. So they both sat down and they were immersed in thoughts of Lord Narayana. When they both were absorbed in this way, they again heard a knock at the door. They both opened the door and they found Pei Alvar standing outside, who too had come for the similar reason. They welcomed Pei Alvar inside and said, when there is place for 2 people to sit down, three of us can stand up. So all 3 of them stood up with folded palms, completely immersed in Krishna consciousness. While they were engaged in Nama Sankirtan, all 3 of them felt a overwhelming presence of a 4th person over there. And the 4th person was trying to force himself inside. They wanted to see who this 4th person was. So the first Alvar, Poigai Alvar, he lit a lamp. He made a lamp using the earth. He put the ocean water as the ghee and the sun was used as the wick. And in the light of this lamp, he saw the Supreme Lord Narayana over there. He immediately composed 100 verses in the praise of Lord Narayana. Now, Bhudat Alvar also wanted to see who the 4th person was. He too lit a lamp. He made a lamp of love. He put the ghee of enthusiasm and he placed a wick of thought process or contemplation. And in this light, he too saw Lord Narayana over there. He offered 100 more verses in praise of Lord Narayana. Now the 3rd Alvar, Pei Alvar, he did not light any lamp, but he saw the Lord in the light of the other 2 lamps, which were already lit by the first 2 Alvars. He too composed 100 more verses in praise of the Lord. In the second scene, you can see Tirumalizai Piran or Bhakti Sar. The first person you see in the front is Kanikannan, his disciple. Kanikannan was asked to leave the kingdom because he had refused to sing verses in the name of the king over there. When the king asked him to leave his country, Kanikannan went to take permission from his spiritual master, Tirumalizai Piran. When he heard this, Piran said, if you are leaving this place, I too will come with you. So both of them decided to leave that kingdom. As they were going, Tirumalizai Piran told the Lord Yathoktakari of Tiruvekka, O Lord Yathoktakari, we both are leaving. Kanikannan is leaving, I too am leaving. Why should you stay here? You too come with us. Roll up your snake bed, put him on your head and come behind us. And as the name says, Yathoktakari, the Lord acted exactly the way Bhakti Sar told him. You can see his snake bed rolled up and kept on his head. He is trying to hold his beautiful Pitambar dhoti. He is trying to balance the snake bed on top of his head and is trying to keep pace with the Alvar. This is how he was reciprocated with his pure devotee. In the next scene, you see that Bhaktisar had traveled a long distance and he had come to see the beautiful darshan of Aravamuda Perumal in Kumbakonam. But when he reached there, it was late afternoon and it was time for the mid-time Rajbhog offering, and the altar had just closed. He was waiting with great eagerness that when will the altar open? Now it will take us very long time. When will I be able to see the Lord? And in this eagerness he was waiting outside. But the Lord inside understood his heart. He also understood that he had walked a very long distance and was very hungry. So when the offering was just getting purified and the Pujari was about to ring the bell, he heard a rumbling sound. He said, "Go out and bring Alvar inside." Initially the Pujari did not understand, who is this speaking? I am the only one here. The Lord again told him, "It is me who is talking to you. Go outside and bring Alvar inside." Immediately the Pujari ran outside and he requested Alvar to come in. Alvar was very shy. He did not want to be there when the offering was happening. But the Pujari told him, "This is the Lord's order, you must come inside." Immediately, Tirumalizai Piran or Bhaktisar, he rushed inside the altar. He saw the wonderful offering had been kept open in front of the Lord. The Lord told him in the same voice, "Alvar, you please have this offering first and I will honor after you." Alvar was very shy, very hesitant. He told the Lord, "I am your servant. How can I do that? You please honor this bhoga first and I shall honor after you, your prasadam, your remnants." But the Lord insisted that you should do what pleases me. Immediately, forced by the Lord, Tirumalizai Piran or Bhaktisar had to follow the Lord's order. He had that bhoga and after him the Lord honored it. So this is how the Lord reciprocated with his devotee over here. In the third scene you see that the Lord is sleeping on his snake bed. Tirumalizai Piran again travelled and came there and he was offering prayers to the Lord. He said, "Oh my Lord, why are you always sleeping? See, I have come from such a far distance. I am offering nice prayers to you. Why don't you sit down and talk to me?" To reciprocate to his feelings, the Lord tried to get up. He lifted his head, and when he saw that the deity, the main deity, is trying to move and get up, the Alvar told him, Stop, enough, hey Keshava, please wait, enough." And even today the Lord is still in a half risen pose over there. His head is slightly rising up while his body is still sleeping. So the Lord decided to keep this deity form so that everyone else who come there even till date will understand that he had tried to rise up for the pleasure of Tirumalizai Piran. In the third scene, you can see the great Nammalvar sitting under a tamarind tree. He had appeared 46 days after the disappearance of Lord Krishna. He was completely immersed in Krishna Bhakti and in thoughts of Lord Krishna. Sometimes, while contemplating on Krishna's pastimes like the Damodar Leela, he would faint for almost 6 months. Whenever he was awake, he would recite beautiful verses which were all recorded by Madhura Kavi Alvar, who is sitting in front of him. He started recording everything for the benefit of the future generations. Next to Madhura Kavi Alvar, you see that Nammalvar is trying to touch the snakes. Whenever Nammalvar would see snakes, he would be reminded of Lord Krishna, because his bed is Anantashesh. So Nammalvar would think that maybe Krishna is somewhere near this snake. He would go near the snakes. If he would see a calf, he would go and touch a calf, thinking that maybe this is the calf that Krishna had touched. On the right side, you can see Kulashekar Alvar sitting in his Raj Darbar. And what is he doing? He is listening to the recitation of Srimad Ramayana. Every day, Vaishnavas would come to his court and they would recite Ramayana, and Kulashekar Alvar would listen to the narration with great pleasure. He was completely immersed in that. But his ministers were not very happy. They were thinking that these Vaishnavas are always coming and distracting our king from doing his duties. We must somehow stop these Vaishnavas from coming over here and reading Ramayana. So the ministers made a plot and they said that these Vaishnavas have stolen some property of the temple. But Kulashekar Alvar was not ready to believe this. He said that I take a vow. I will put my hand in the pit of poisonous cobra. If the Vaishnavas have stolen anything from here, let the cobra bite me and let me die. And if they have not stolen anything, for sure the cobra will not bite me. So you can see over here Kulashekar Alvar in front of a basket with a very deadly poisonous cobra snake. But of course, the cobra snake never bit him, and the Vaishnavas were proved to be innocent. In the next scene, in the fourth scene, we can see Periyalvar. On the fourth step, we see Periyalvar on a victory procession, riding on the royal elephant. There was a debate held at the kingdom of the king Vallabha Pandya. The debate was about Paratattva Nirnayam. They had to decide who is the Supreme Lord. Many Vedic scholars had come there to debate. Periyalvar too had come there on the order of the Lord. When he presented his argument, the king was completely satisfied and everybody present was satisfied. He established that the Supreme Lord, Krishna or Narayana, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In order to honor him, the king immediately fell at his feet, accepted him as his guru, and arranged a victory procession for him. He was seated on an elephant and taken around in the town of Madurai. Many common people, all the local citizens of Madurai, also accompanied this procession. The Lord was also very eager to see his devotee being honored in this way. So the Lord also reached there along with Lakshmi Devi, riding on Garuda. And not only this, the Lord made himself visible to Periyalvar and all the common people over there. When Periyalvar saw this, that even the common people are able to get the Lord's darshan, he was very worried about the Lord. In the mood of a mother, he offered Mangala Shasanam or benedictory prayers for the Lord. Next to this procession, we can see Andal along with her friends. Andal was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Her only ambition was to get married to Lord Ranganath. In the next scene, we can see Tondaradi Podi Alvar or Bhaktangri Renu, which means, his name means that he is the dust of the lotus feet of the Bhagavatas. His favorite service was to grow a beautiful flower garden of flowers and tulsi leaves. He would make beautiful garlands from these flowers and offer it to Lord Ranganath. Here you can see Tiruppan Alvar or Muni Vahana, as is called in Sanskrit. He was not born in a Brahmana family like many other Alvars. So he was a great devotee of Lord Ranganath. He would always sing the holy names of Lord Ranganath, and he would play his beautiful celebrated tambura, which you can see around his neck. Once near the bank of the Kaveri, he was immersed in singing the names of Lord Ranganath, his holy hymns. At that time, Lokasaranga Muni, who was a pujari in the Ranganath temple, happened to come there for his service. He had to go back and render his service in the temple of Ranganath. But Tirpan Alvar or Munivahana was standing on his way. He asked him to move, but Tirpan Alvar was very much immersed in his singing. Being angry on him, Lokasaranga Muni took a stone and hurled it towards him. It hurt the forehead of Tirpan Alvar. You can see him bleeding over there. His forehead was bleeding. But he never took any offense. He just moved aside and he continued to sing the names of Lord Ranganath. This is the greatness of this Alvar. He never thought that, look, I have been singing about this Lord Ranganath, and this Brahmana devotee, his pujari, he has insulted me, he has offended me in this way. Why should I sing the names of Lord Ranganath? This is very natural for anyone to think like that, being abused in this way. But he never felt like this. He naturally moved aside and he continued his bhajan. He never took any offense. But the Lord took offense of this. And when Lokasaranga Muni went to the temple, he went to continue his worship, he saw that the altars were closed. And he heard a voice, "You have offended my devotee, Tirpan Alvar. Go back to him, apologize to him, seek forgiveness. You must also carry him on your shoulders and bring him to my temple." Now, Lokasaranga Muni understood. He realized what a big Vaishnava aparadh he had done. He rushed to that place where Tirpan Alvar was still immersed in singing the holy names of Lord Ranganath. He went there, fell at his feet. Tirpan Alvar was very embarrassed because he had never taken any offense of what had happened. But Lokasaranga Muni apologized to him and he told him what the Lord had ordered him. Though very embarrassed, since it was the Lord's order, Tirpan Alvar sat on his shoulder and he was carried to the temple of Lord Ranganath and he got very special darshan from the Lord. This is how special the devotees are to the Lord, and he does not tolerate any kind of Vaishnava aparadh. We can see that from this pastime. In the last scene, you can see Tirumangai Alvar. He played a key role in constructing the 6 gopurams or the 6 gates of the Srirangam temple. There are totally 7 gates today, but 6 of them were constructed by Tirumangai Alvar. He is the youngest of all and the most recent Alvar in the Kali Yuga. He had got married to a Vaishnava girl called Kumudavalli, and her condition for marriage was that he should feed 1008 Vaishnavas every single day. He agreed to that condition and he fulfilled that. And he did many important services. And one of the main service was the construction of this Srirangam temple. He had 4 associates who helped him in collecting money. You can see over there a lot of Lakshmi kept in front of the temple. You can also see the temple under construction and the map in front of Tirumangai Alvar. He holds a spear because he had a Kshatriya background. You can also see in the middle the holy book called the Nalaayira Divya Prabandham. That means 4,000 divine hymns which were composed by all the 12 Alvars.